Я буду рассказывать на английском, вот, не потому что я знаю английский, а потому что я хочу, чтобы про РС знали многие, вот, а не только в нашем местном комьюнити, не только из местных каких-то локальных городов. К нам приезжали там Россия, Украина, Казахстан, Польша иногда. Вот, поэтому я думаю, вы поймете и простите меня. Ну и плюс ко всему, помимо всяких там хард-скиллов и софт-скиллов, английский тоже нужно качать. Вот, поэтому качайте, короче. Как-то так. Ну, это, наверное, потом обрежется, и, собственно, в запись попадет что-то типа такого. Okay, hello, Minsk. Hi. My name is Pavel, and my talk is going to be universal fusion of the team. Let's talk a little bit about me so you get to know me better. So I'm a team lead. I'm doing my best with leading my team. Just shout out to my team. You're the best one. Also, I'm doing some mentoring stuff. Speaker. Yeah, that's me, obviously. Also, I'm doing some stuff about the conference organizing, such as BURGIA Summit. Shout out to my Kyiv community. You're the best one. Also, I'm doing Front Spot show with Max. Anyone watch Front Spot show? Yeah, please like, subscribe, you know. Yeah, but not the first one. Our first video was so-so. And yeah, I'm also all about BURGS, obviously. So yeah, BURGS rocks. Okay, but actually it doesn't matter because we are all the same. Basically, our usual day is like this, right? We watch YouTube, we browse some internet stuff, we chat, we spend some time on Facebook, on Netflix, on Slack, so on and so forth. And it's all good, but once you have to do some, you know, like regular stuff, like buy or rent an apartment, for example, or you want to renew your driver license, or even you want your pet being vaccinated, right? Just some obvious stuff. So you have to go to this like government building, I don't know, maybe Ispolkom or something like that, right? And you'll see this beautiful queue of people spending their life in this queue because they just want to не только спросить. And it really sucks, right? You have to spend like an hour or 2 or even 4 hours standing in this hell of a queue, and you won't get your result or you won't get your like license or something like that. Of course, it's all about e-government right now. It's all about web accessibility, web developers, and obviously you want to find this solution in the internet, right? Yeah, and if you do live in Minsk, you'll go to this Ispolkom, but in electronic version, right? And it's going to be something like this, right? Very unique, very, you know, like interesting experience for you. Very, you know, like stuff that you actually don't need to see, but you actually see it, and this shit cannot be unseen, right? But if you do live in Gomel, for example, and another beautiful city in Belarus, you'll have something like this, right? Again, these like beautiful UI, UX patterns. They have some scrolling trap inside, just in the middle here. Well, actually, it's in Ukrainian, but still you just see the picture. And if you happen to live in Brest, another city, Brest, you'll see something like this, right? Windows 8 experience in 2019, right? And you just want to find out how you can your driver license, for example, being like renewed or something like that, right? Easy stuff. But they actually don't have search component here, like completely. You cannot find it. But they do have this accessibility icon. I don't know why, because for the accessibility purpose, they didn't implement nothing actually. So they don't have like any descriptions for images. The performance is still really like low and so on and so forth. So let's just compare all these websites that we have right now, and let's identify the 6 things that government sites have in common. So basically, they have way different various technical stack. I mean, just once you open the developer tools, well, of course, you will see the bloody red console, right? You will see like a lot of comments in the code. You will see a lot of additional stuff that you don't have to see, but still you see it. And of course, they all have jQuery, right? In 2019, they still have jQuery. They have different URLs. I mean that some city just ends with .city, another website ends with gov.by or something like that. They have all different protocols. I mean, like some on HTTPS, some on HTTP. They have poor, I mean, like the poorest accessibility if possible, if they do have any. Their performance really, really bad one. And for sure, like each of them has its own unique design. I mean, like unique. I mean, you cannot like unsee it. Like it's gonna be a nightmare for years. I mean, like just you will remember this like nice queue in this Исполком like a blessing, right? Because this experience is like the best that you're gonna have with this government stuff. So you might think that probably government sites, they are really like bad ones. Well, actually not all of them. If you're lucky enough to live in New York City, you'll see something like this, right? Quite obvious solutions, quite obvious questions, quite obvious answers that you might have. And it's quite easy to navigate, and this website is a really performant one. And actually, you might go to the full version of this website, and full version of this website is going to be like this one. Basically, they have search, they have slider, so on and so forth. Quite applicable, right? And basically, in the United States, they have something in common. They have United States Web Design System. What? So you might ask, like, United States Web Design System, what it is? Well, actually, it's something like this one. So quite a nice website where you can find a lot of information which regulates all the websites designed to be like for people, by people, and especially developed by their government facilities. They have a lot of information for developers as well, like code practice, best practices, things that you don't have to do or things you should do while implementing government sites. Yep, just a sec. They have clicker. They have even like UI pattern library. So you are very familiar that you see the alert, and it is alert. It's not slider. It's not something different that you might see while navigating on Belarusians' websites. So what is inside of a design system? That's the good question. So let's deep dive into it and identify the pillars of the design system itself. So usually a design system consists of the following parts. So the required one, like must have, is the foundation, like building blocks of a design system. So it contains like icons, typography, colors, grids, basically stuff for designers and developers as well. Also, you might find the UI kit library with elements, components, modules, pages. Once you talk about the atomic design, you'll find the all atoms, molecules, organisms, and templates as well. Again, when we talk about design system, there are a lot of stuff that you can find as well, such as guidelines, brand book, playbook, resources, some articles, and a bunch of how-to articles. So you might ask, okay, so they have like web, US web design system. Who else have it? Well, actually, a lot of companies do have design system. So Salesforce, they have the quite a very popular design system, which is called Lightning. So as you can see, they have a very unique, in a good way, website. So they have a lot of information related to this stuff. So you can find a lot of information about the design guidelines, accessibility patterns that they have, utilities, design tokens, and so on and so forth. Briefly talking, Google Material is another design library, design system library. Microsoft, they do have as well. Some companies try to apply design systems like, I don't know, like a month ago or 2 months ago. For example, Workplace, they do have like very fresh and brand new one. Even SAP, they do have as well. And they all like IT companies, right? But even Audi, they have their own design system as well, which they explain all the features, all the particular items that they have, which help their company to create a unique and very pleasant experience for user as well. Okay, so you might ask, okay, looks great, but do I really need it? And now we have some like question and answer session, right? So I hope that you are not kind of like too lazy about that. So I'd like to raise your hand if you find yourself at your current project in a design hell. What I mean by that, basically, when I talk about the design hell, I mean that you have a lot of different formats of images of this image file. I mean, you have like PSD, GIF, Sketch, WebP, Flash, like even some PowerPoint slides. I don't know, like for what reason. That's one side of the problem. Another part of the problem is that once you have your like Jira ticket or whatsoever, you have this final design, and then you have like final design as well. And it is like PSD file, right? And then you have like final edited design, which is JPEG file. And then you have final edited by Kate, and again, it's PSD. So just raise your hand if you experience such a design hell at your current project. Okay, cool. Another hell that you might experience as well, it's a source of the truth hells. So we have a starting point here. Just check. Jira story, right? Like the very first step. It's quite obvious. You have a Jira story, you have a description of the story, it's been accepted, and it's really easy to implement, right? I mean, from the business perspective. And you have PSD file in it, right? I mean, like the one from this hell. Okay, so what are you gonna do? Of course, you're gonna send an email. While investigating this email thread, you might find that, okay, I have to look at the Jira bug, which kind of like is related to this issue. And then again, a lot of emails, Confluence page, Skype calls, Slack, meeting, so on and so forth. Then finally, you have a call with product owner, where you find the easiest way of solving this issue is, guys, I just don't understand your problem. You have Jira story. Just don't waste my time, please. Just please raise your hand if you do experience this source of the truth hell. Just raise your hand, like, come on, don't be shy. Okay, okay. Okay, another hell that you might find at your project, or you might not find at your project, is code duplication hell. Okay, so somehow you did implement this Jira story, right? You did implement some functionality, and you did it in a good way, right? You have like a lot of like components. You just separate it into like different files. That's good. But then you find out that, okay, basically someone implemented the same and called it like content block, and it was like a few months ago. And actually half a year ago, someone even implemented like mega container JS, and they all just try to like solve the issue of this Jira story. Just raise your hand if you do have the same issue. Yep. Okay. So somehow you might find as well the architecture hell, because with all this hell before you had, you'll find out that your application is not that bulletproof as you expected before. Your application, just raise your hand, like you did like fix, okay, I saw you as well. Okay, so yeah, you just tried to fix a little bit of CSS and then like boom, all of a sudden everything is gone. And of course you might find as well performance hell, because once you have this kind of like weak architecture of your application, you cannot like just grab this weak part of this chain and like implement it in a good way. Another stuff is put it into the backlog hell. Like we don't know the solution, just put it in the backlog. So it's sprint 1, we have like 3 items in the backlog. Sprint 2, we have like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like 6 or 7 or like, I don't know, like 9. Sprint X, we have like a lot of items in the backlog and something went wrong, right? Just raise your hand, come on guys. Yeah. And I suppose that another like pain stuff as well is onboarding hell, right? You have like, I don't know, like 1 junior developer, 3 junior developers. You just give them this Jira story, like, okay, you have to fix this and that. We have like a lot of documentation, we have a lot of like stuff you're gonna read. Just, it's gonna be easy, right? Just do it. You have like, I don't know, like day or 2, a year, or something like that. Anyone onboarding hell? Just let's, like think about the junior developers. Yeah. And like the last but not least hell is your items hell. Basically you have red color, right? But which one? Should it be this one, or this one, or this, or this, or this, or this? Or should we like have this button in this shape, in this shape, in this shape, or in this one? We don't know. We don't know because we have like a lot of items that we have. That's okay. So as you see, like you have quite a lot of pain in common. So let's identify that. Probably design system might help you. So let's have design system 101, like design system ABC. So what is the benefits of a design system? What is the benefits of this like nice thing that you might have on your project, or you already have one? Well, first of all, you're gonna eliminate your tech and design debt. That's a good one, right? Also, you're gonna try to scale your application, release faster without inconsistencies. And by inconsistencies, I mean design inconsistencies and technical inconsistencies as well. And like final part of it, but not like the last one, is that you might increase your team without like any difficulties with onboarding. That's a good one, right? And this is quite the top 1 question about the design system itself. So design system might be implemented only with React, all right? That's quite thought, right? I just warn you. So the next slides may be disturbing to some developers, so viewer discretion is advised. So no matter which framework or library you use, just once you create flexible, scalable, and stable software architecture, you're gonna make it. Really, it doesn't matter. So whether your application is Angular 1 or React, or you do have some parts being written in Vue, some in React as well. So basically you might create your beautiful, unique, and outstanding application even using like Vuyak Talara. Such a beautiful combination of libraries and frameworks which will benefit your users at the end. So that all sounds good, right? But who is the owner of design system? So should it be designer, developer, or someone else? So let's discuss all the approaches that exist. So the first one is a single maintainer of design system. So when does it happen? So basically, you came to your project manager and said, well, you know, they do have a nice thing called design system. Should we implement it? Yeah, we should. Please do. Please do implement this design system. So this is the single maintainer approach. So basically, you're gonna be the one who is responsible for it. Or you might have a team of your supporters, and you might implement this design system. So this approach will have some impacts. So it's gonna be like really dogmatic. It's gonna be time risky and like just risky, because you never know what might happen to you or to your team as well. And actually, it kind of bad thing to your team, because it really decreases team motivation itself. But it's good for money, because it's going to be just one person or a group of persons. That's good from the business point of view. Another approach is design system contractors. So usually it is a team who is not part of your team actually, who just saw your application, who just saw your Voyagtalar architecture and provided quite a good solution, like, okay, we're going to implement it in a month, for example. Well, actually, it's bad for money perspective. It is way bad for team involvement processes, and you might end up with this dilemma of expectation versus reality, because in 1 month, they might provide you something which is obviously might not satisfy you as well. But it's good for time, right? So you don't have to like waste your team time for that. Another approach is like back to your school approach. It is called Who's on Duty Today. So basically, you just pick some developers, some designers, some QA engineers. You create a team who's going to be responsible for this design system, and they implement it. Of course, it has some benefits. It has some, of course, bad sides as well. But the good thing is that you create a shared value here, and it is good for long-term profit of your project. What is way bad for the itself velocity, and again, we're gonna have kind of like blaming the previous team thing here, because once you like break the storybook, you might like wait a little bit for the next week, so the other team might fix it. Just everyone. Another approach for design system. It is way bad for money. It requires a lot of pre-work activities, and you have to have strict control while we talk about this approach. But again, it is way good for the shared value, long-term profit, and flexibility itself. And the last approach that might exist as well, just a few from each team. Well, basically, it is the best one. So we pick some developers, some designers, some QA engineers to this team, and you have like one team doing some stuff on like regular project activities, and this sub-team, like related to the design system implementation, they just create this stuff. And again, how we might switch from the old application to the new one with the design system. All at once. You just, like stop everything, you create design system, you create a new application, and that's it. It's done. A lot of benefits, a lot of good stuff, but still. Step by step. Again, another approach that exists in some companies, even like you have some old application and you have this link, like, okay, you want to see our new application that will be released in a month, please click here. So like day by day, your users will have a look at this new stuff that they're gonna see like in a month, in a year, or something like that. And the good thing here is that basically you will have a lot of feedback during this process, and it's good for the implementation itself. Another part is that keep both of them is the last approach of implementing design system. And again, it's really, really money-consuming stuff, time-consuming, stuff-consuming. But again, like finally, your users will be happy about it, and finally, you'll have less bugs. What you're gonna have with this design systems approach itself? So you'll have bulletproof design. I mean, like all design items are gonna be stored in one place. You'll have consistent design, scalable design, and of course, the design and code integration is like the best part of it. Again, while implementing design system, you will have this really and truly component-driven development. You might find your development process like the really bulletproof ones. You might like add a lot of features that basically with the old application you might not have, like lighthouse checks, I know, like code coverage reports, code duplication checks, so on and so forth. Just like make it really bulletproof. Again, you're gonna have the bulletproof releases. Again, it's challenging stuff, but once you apply semantic versioning by Lerna, for example, you won't find yourself in this like dependencies hell. You'll have your dependencies auto-updated. You'll have your builds on demands. You'll have your changelog. You'll have auto documentation. You have all the notification that you might have, and your still like release cycle is gonna be really amazing. And QA, they're gonna be happy as well by applying like visual regression testing, lighthouse checks, functional auto tests, coverage reports, and whatever tests they might want. They're gonna be happy. But still, it all like sounds good. But there are some cases when design systems won't be that good for your project, right? I mean, like there's gonna be something bad about design systems, right? So the first one is you don't know how many sprints left, but still like not many, right? I mean, like you just for sure know that like by the end of September, your project will no longer be available or something like that. Yep. You don't have such a, like amount of time for that. So basically, sorry guys, that's not for you. Again, if you do realize that right now I'm showing some of your code, this is not the way you should implement design system here. Basically, I'm just really sorry for you guys, but no, design system won't work because you have to re-implement your application like a lot, and it's gonna be bad. This approach is kind of like from the management team. It's like, quote, team is already established and there is no extra money. Like we have to implement such a product in 9 months, for example. So we have to increase our team by 9 times, and we're gonna release this product in 1 month, right? So quite a smart choice. So that's just the whole attitude when the design system itself won't work. Partial responsibility. It happens when you do implement part of the application, part of your application is being implemented, I don't know, by another team, by another country, so on and so forth. You just don't know how things work here. So basically, yeah, it won't work. Another stuff about the design systems is the following. When your management team, when your, I don't know, like project managers, they just said like, okay, like we are building nuclear weapon here. We don't want anyone to see at our code, at our UX principles, at our, like patterns, guidelines, so on and so forth. Just please keep it secret. And again, when you have your application being written in Vector, for example, or in Svelte, you see the Svelte example of the application, yeah, the brand new one, and this one is obviously not Svelte. It's going to be a challenging action for you to really implement the design system, to rewrite your components, to rewrite your items that you have following these new standards. But somehow you might, convey your management that basically we have to eliminate this part and use this approach and then use a design system itself. Okay. Bad advice about design systems. Okay, so you are all into design systems, right? You just completed the refactoring code, you just implemented the whole architecture using Vuectolar and so on and so forth. So let's have a look at bad advice that exists still. So the first one is coming from the management team as well, we need this design system. Without a deep understanding why do you really need it, it won't work. Okay, you might need it. Okay, that's good. Just please do not copycat all your competitors. I mean, you do implement this, for example, I don't know, Goraspolkom website. Just don't do really copycatting all the patterns that have, I don't know, that New York City have. Don't do it. Also, do not reinvent the wheel. Just don't do it. You might be extremely optimistic about time. Yeah, you won't do it in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months. Just don't be that stupid. Don't be that optimistic, right? It might take you a year or half a year or something like that. It won't be implemented in a week. Again, you do implement only UI kit or component library. Well, sorry, that's not design system. Still, you might find all these images, all these design items being in a real mess. That's not design system. No documentation or over documentation. Again, that's bad. Just find something that will help you. Creating design system without target audience. Just don't do it because you do it. Just investigate. Just do some researches as well. Again, quite common mistake as well. It's a developers only club. The others are not welcome here. Just please do involve designers, quality engineers, DevOps engineers, project management. Just everyone will help you in finding the better solution for your team. Do not ignore feedback. It is really important to hear and do really implement the things being mentioned in the feedback session. Again, do not create new components without modifying the existing ones. Just make it as robust as you can. Just do it. Again, that's probably something about the design itself, but still, just try to avoid pop-up models and loader hell. What I mean by that? You might have some components, right? And once you experience some network issues, you'll have this loader, right? That's solution. But once something is really, really terrible, you will see that you have 20 loaders on your page. That's not good. Just think about it before. Again, completely empty pages, completely empty containers without any content are not good for your users. Just do some, some text here as well. Again, language-driven development. That's why you have to invest more in the design itself more. Because once you have this component, the easiest one, I mean button, and it's going to be OK button. Okay, so it's going to be short, right? But once you do release your application to the world, once you have your application being translated into the different languages, in German, in Arabic, they won't have this quite short text. They have to modify this button. And once you have these strict rules for this button, the final result won't be that good for final designer. while reviewing, I mean, like that's advice for developers, just make sure that accessibility is okay of any particular component. Because once you have even small accessibility error in tiny small component, your whole application will suffer at all. That's like my best advice, and I really do love it. Implicit error messages, if any. Just please, by any cost, avoid this stupid message. Oops, something went wrong. Come on, you're developers. You know what went wrong. Just do some, like next steps for your users. Like reload the page, wait a little bit longer, I don't know, like leave the country, something like that. Make it, smart. Just, oops, something went wrong. It's not that obvious what you should do once you see this error. Yeah, just do not skip accessibility. Okay. Do not create design system version 2. Do not create design system version 3, 4, and 5. Just fix it. Just, just try to apply all the changes that you might have into the existing ones. Because finally, all your designers, all your developers, and all your users will suffer because of these, like a bunch of complications. Okay, so that all sounds very good. So where are we all going? So which tools we might use while implementing design system? Well, of course, I do realize that most of you guys here like React, so React style guys is kind of cool things. So if you don't like try it before, just please do. It's really nice thing. Then anyone here doing some stuff in Vue, just raise your hands. They have Vue.js. It's Vue.js like design system generator. It's cool stuff. Again, it consists a lot of stuff under the hood, so like you won't like experience some stuff that you might like face with a lot of different frameworks while implementing design system. Also, have a look at the Studio by UXPin. It's a free tool, so just to have a look at the design system itself, just to step by step go and create the design system for you. But I mean, like, that's all for developers, right? And what about designers? I mean, they also cool, right? They probably have some good, I don't know, like instead of Photoshop, right? Instead of Paint, they do have Sketch. And I'm pretty much sure that most of you are familiar with Sketch, but also Sketch provides you a lot of additional libraries or plugins or something like that, where you might find some, I know, like ESLint or StyleLint stuff, I mean like checks. So here, as you can see, you have this like blue button, Book Now, and it is stated here that, well, actually recommended color and type and font and so on and so forth. That's good, right? So probably your designer won't like ship something unique for you. Again, another tool just from designers as well, it is called Zeppelin. So I'm sure that some of you are also familiar here. And look, here, again, is the linter issues they have. Nice, right? So basically, once they send you a link with a unique design, you might state that, okay, but there are some issues here. That's good about design, right? There are even some tools called React Sketch app. It's kind of like combination of Sketch and React. So you have your code on the right, and on the left it is Sketch file here. I mean, like vice versa. Framer X, basically doing the same. Just a sec. Okay. Unexpected technical stuff. Just a sec. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't, just a sec. Okay. Yeah, Playroom is another tool. It's good for your quality engineers, so they test all the components in one browser window and have a look how things work in mobile view, in this desktop view, in tablet view, so on and so forth. Okay, and the last tool, which might be interesting for designers, developers, and just for everyone, is called Abstract. Like, anyone in the audience hear about Abstract before? Okay, cool. So Abstract is a cool tool for everyone, because obviously it has like a lot of features. So some of them are quite obvious, so you don't have to suffer with all the file types. You might download like SVG, PNG, icons, so on and so forth. But that's good, right? But they have something even better. They have the integration between code and design. So designers can modify colors, for example, and developers in the one library itself, they can modify colors as well. So they will have this beautiful message like, look, developer, someone changed the color, and all the system being updated. That's good, right? But the killer feature here is the following, that Abstract allows designers follow the Git strategies, Git flow. Look, right now they have commits. So for sure, you will know that who did the change and when did it happen and who can you blame because of it. Just to sum it up, design system is not a silver bullet, but just give it a try. And that's it, I guess. Thank you.
Ну что, может быть, есть какие-нибудь вопросы? Тут немножко темновато.
Я сейчас лазером посвечу в человека.
Thank you for the presentation. I completely disagree with your statement about copycatting your competition. Because, well, I actually did work at a French startup that had a, let's say, an American counterpart.
Okay.
And they took everything except for the colors. So they replaced orange with blue and called it a day. And it worked because at that moment they did not have a budget to invest into developing their own style, their own design, and they knew that that particular system, that particular design, that particular user experience that Americans at some tech had, it worked and it was well tested. A lot of money went into developing that user experience and such, and it worked.
Yeah, it worked, but it worked in a short-term perspective, but then in a long-term perspective, it is kind of like really legal issue. So they're gonna find themselves in court, really.
Do you want to say that basically copying the UX of a project is some patent issue or some legal issue? Like if I just copy the flow, if I copy the size and the behavior of the application?
Yeah, but just do not copy just everything. You might copy some part.
They did copy everything.
Yeah, but that's not smart, really.
I can say they were very smart, but it worked.
Yeah, it did work, but yeah.
Thank you.
Еще вопросы у нас будут?
Thanks for your talk and sorry for my English. I'm trying to connect the very beginning of your talk with conclusions you gave to us, and I can't understand how the existence of design system can solve the problems of Belarus government websites, actually.
Well, okay.
I mean, I understand that you showed us examples of bad design and so on,
Yeah.
but I don't understand how the existence of design system in those projects can solve that problem.
Okay, just a sec.
Because menus, other blocks, they seems pretty consistent. And you might have ugly design system, which says that website should be ugly, and the result will be the same.
Okay, but okay, look, Vasily. Do you really like enjoy this website?
No, I don't enjoy, but existing of a web of design system doesn't make the design better. It just makes all the design in the same style. It says which approach should be used across all the pages and so on, but
Okay.
it doesn't make the design better, I mean design itself.
Well, actually here they have a lot of design inconsistencies. So first of all, then they have poor accessibility, they have poor performance, they have really, I don't know, like extremely bad user experience itself.
Yeah, but all these problems can be solved with design system.
Some-
I mean, performance is not a problem of design system, right?
Okay, but how can you like fix the performance of this huge, I don't know, like website being written, I don't know, in some, you know, like prehistoric framework? So it have to be like re-implemented, right? It have to be like separated into different parts. Because right now we have like buttons, we have like images, but they are like images, they are not images. Buttons are not buttons. So they have like really inconsistent everything, I mean.